Welcome back. Welcome back to Matt Opens Toys. This is my first official stream utilizing my new setup. I want to say thank you to some of my friends who had helped me in doing some troubleshooting with my new setup over the weekend. I did a couple of test streams where we kind of worked out some of the kinks as far as the video output, and also with the, there really wasn't any kinks to work out with regards to the audio. I have a new microphone set up, a Yeti Blue, that I was able to get thanks to a good friend of mine, a very generous, kind friend of mine. Shout out to that friend. And I am also now utilizing my Canon T7 to do some video, or the video capture, that is to say. So we should see a bit of an improvement with regards to the overall video quality, even in those test streams. The first one, we had a bit of a frame rate drop issue, but I think I got that worked out. I think we're still not like super speedy. There's probably still some optimization that I can do, but this is very watchable. And I mean, it's not like I'm playing a video game where you're wanting to see every little piece of action. We're just going to be, opening toys as it says. So very excited to be using this new setup. And wow, it's so strange being able to hear myself in my headphones, but I think the audio quality is dramatically improved. And also I've set myself up to be a lot closer to my microphone. I just need to watch some of my microphone habits so that I don't do, terribly obnoxious things with this microphone. Now that you'll be able to hear me a little bit better, I don't want to, pop my plosives. I don't want to just do those things that are generally icky from an audio standpoint. 3 viewers. Hello. Hi. Welcome, everybody. I'm also streaming through OBS, Streamlabs OBS, whereas before I was just using the native Twitch app. So I mean, there's a lot of changes with regards to this. Hopefully, again, I'm a little bit easier to hear, and I'll try and be aware of just being closer to the microphone. But yeah, video upgrade, audio upgrade, lots of upgrades. I'm gonna work on maybe getting a little bit better lighting in the future. But that's not an immediate concern. I think we've been making some significant quality of life improvements anyway. So welcome back to Matt Opens Toys. Thank you again for everybody that decides to stop by and watch this absurdity that is just the endless avalanche of collectibles, toys that I live with every single day. As usual, we're going to be looking at just opening a few things today. We are in week 3 of Turtlefest 2021. We're going to be continuing to open some merchandise that is, themed around Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, a personal favorite pet franchise of mine. Last official stream, prior to some of my test streams, last official stream was Turtlefest 2021 week 2. Week 1 had been opening some of the NECA cartoon Ninja Turtles, and then week 2 had been my first foray into opening and checking out some of these Super7. That's the manufacturer right there, Super7. Some of these Super7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys, which are a little more like direct homage or reference to the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys. I learned while doing my testing over the weekend that it's better to just kind of fiddle with the focus manually so that we can get that nice crisp quality, and we can take a look at little details and close-ups and things like that. So, generally speaking, a nicer stream overall. I hope that everybody appreciates all of the hard work and sacrifice that I'm putting into this absurd hobby of mine. But we're going to continue where we left off in week 2 we got abruptly cut off last week, or the last official stream, which I think was actually 2 weeks ago, because of some pretty bad rainstorms. They kind of cut off the tail end of me checking out that wave 1 of the Super7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates. So we didn't really get like a full look at Mutagen Man. I do like the Mutagen Man figure quite a bit. Maybe I can pull him down off the shelf to show him off a little bit towards the end of this. But yeah, so it's been a wild time, I would say, in the time since the last time I streamed. I forget if that was before or after my birthday, but my birthday has come and gone. We're now midway into May. And my wife was just telling me about how ridiculous these items right here, Pokemon cards, are making people in my very own city here act. And I'm sure all across the United States. So on my birthday, I went with my mother and my wife, and we went to Target, and we were, doing some shopping. My mom bought me a lovely Lola Bunny from the new Space Jam, which I had opened in one of my test streams. And when we were checking out, the young lady at the customer service desk was like, "Do you want to buy some Pokemon cards?" And we were like, well, we didn't necessarily come in for that, but we did buy Pokemon Snap. And I figured, if it's being offered to me, why don't I go ahead and just pick up some Pokemon cards as long as they're being offered? Because as some of you may be aware, there's kind of like a ridiculous black market for this right now. Yeah, definitely should have bought more. Lesson learned. If we could have bought more, I think they were saying that it was limited to one per person. The young lady that was assisting us, this was like right before close on that store too. She probably would have looked the other way and sold us, at least a few. They had quite a bit at that time, but we just bought the one. This is that same one that I had purchased. Maybe if there's time, we can take a look at opening this. Everybody that I see that opens these, they're like using like surgical gloves and things like that, so they're not getting their filthy finger oils all over these cards that are apparently worth a lot of money. I'm not gonna spend too long ruminating over Pokemon cards, because we're here for Turtlefest Week 3, and like I said, we're going to be looking this week at Wave 2 of the Super7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Ultimates line. That includes Raphael, Foot Soldier, Master Splinter, and Baxter Stockman. Ironically, coincidentally, I suppose, not ironically, but I had opened a Master Splinter and Baxter Stockman in the first week of Turtlefest, but those were the Nika cartoon turtles. So, we have a little point of comparison. You can go back, check out that video over on my YouTube archive, because I believe it's already gone off of the video on demand here from Twitch. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of talking. Why don't we get into opening some toys, and I will continue to just talk. But yeah, I was saying, my wife actually shared with me just now a photo that was posted from our very own city here. I live in San Antonio, Texas. Where a local Target was putting up a sign that said, as effective on May 14th, they are no longer going to be selling Pokemon, Major League Baseball, or there was some other card that they talked about. But basically, they're kind of scaling back on the trading card market for the time being, because I guess there was like some crazy altercations. Like somebody had gone to like a Walmart and was leaving with some Major League Baseball cards, and these 4 guys like came out and they were gonna like jump the dude, but the guy had a gun. So I mean, people are just going buck wild about these trading cards, and it's very funny. I mean, that in and of itself is not funny in my opinion, but I just think that it's getting to be a really bizarre time to be alive, I think, in the Western world. where we are very, very, we're all consumers. I can't claim to be not a consumer. I'm a big consumer, obviously. I mean, I have a Twitch channel that's about me opening toys. So I just find it interesting that it kind of feels like we're sort of on the precipice of what could be a pretty rough time for a lot of people. I mean, again, my wife was telling me about like a potential gas shortage and paper good shortage. And I believe I mentioned in one of my recent streams, some of the manufacturers of toys have indicated that, they're going to have to increase the price point on some of their toys because of the manufacturing costs. I think that evergreen freighter in the Panama Canal actually kind of messed up distribution, like worldwide distribution, quite a bit, it seems like. And I think you're going to see some far-reaching ramifications of that for a while, it seems like. I really think we haven't really felt the worst of it yet. But it definitely seems, again, like we're going to be in for an interesting time coming up, because I've heard about a gas shortage. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an alarmist. I'm not here to make anybody overly concerned. I hope I don't upset anybody's anxiety, but I just find, there's a lot of things in the news that are all kind of pointing in one direction. Even at my work, they've been talking about like how there aren't even really cars for people to buy or get car loans out for. And I know that like a lot of car dealerships are trying very hard to get people to turn in their used vehicles. Yeah, I don't know. I'm no expert. I'm repeating some of the things that I've heard. I don't have any particularly strong explanations with regards to anything, but these are just some of the news items that have popped up since the last time that I streamed. Even my test streams, these are things that have kind of come to the head. But we're here to open toys, right? We're not here to talk about current events. Who cares about current events? We like toys on this channel. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Love them. So last week last official stream, I opened Leonardo, the leader of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder, Mutagen Man, and then Bebop, who you see actually here in the background a little bit out of focus because this fancy new camera that I'm using actually has a little bit of a more shallow depth of field so that you get nicer details on what's in focus, and everything else is a little bit less in focus than what it used to be in the past. Again, a bit of a difference from when I was streaming directly out of the iPad. Yeah, I liked all of those Super7 Ultimates that I opened last week. I think Bebop in particular looks great. As a matter of fact, when I was testing out the camera on one of my test streams, I was able to capture a little bit more detail. The guy has a fantastic sculpt. The main four turtles themselves, I mean, they're pretty straightforward as far as their sculpts, because they're not overly complicated character designs, I would say, overall. Gosh, there's so many parts of this box. I need to get these out of the way. I'm going to set these to the side. We're going to just take a closer look at Raphael himself. But yeah, so the turtles themselves, I think they're great. I mean, they're certainly like an excellent interpretation of the characters, but I think, like I mentioned last week, these larger characters, like Bebop and even the Mutagen Man, I think that they were really kind of showing a little bit more of what is great about this line, in that they're able to kind of take what those toys were sort of implying, or maybe the technology wasn't there at the time, and they're kind of capturing what your imagination with the toys was back in the day. I think these turtles, I mean, again, they're excellent. They're kind of a little bit more just classic, a new representation or a modern, updated version of the toys that you know. I do like that they have multiple heads that are included. So you have the one that's very accurate to the original toy, and then you have one that's just a little bit more of like a modern head that goes along with it. I'm a little I'm a little left in frame. I should start trying to center myself a little more. But yeah, so I think these are great. I mean, when you look at the second portrait that's included, it kind of looks similar to the comics that IDW are putting out. I have my Leonardo displayed with the I have my Leonardo displayed with a more modern head sculpt, and I'll probably end up doing the same with Raphael, because I just think these look pretty great. A lot of detail in the sculpt. Again, versus a lot of other characters where, especially like your bad guys, yeah, he angry. That's like a defining trait of Raphael. He's an angry boy. He's cool but rude. But yeah, I like the modern head sculpts, but I do enjoy the fact that, you know, they're also being very faithful to those original toys in that they are. I'm gonna move my keyboard out of the way. In that they're also including a sculpt that is pretty much like a pretty close recreation of that original toy. So you kind of have the best of both worlds. Again, a lot of display options that are included with these guys. I oftentimes mock the amount of hands that are included with modern toys, but they really do give you just like 1,000,001 display options that are included. So this Raphael release is very similar to the Leonardo release in that, again, it's evoking and has a sculpt that is very similar to the original toy, with that modern head included as well. I imagine that your articulation is going to be virtually identical to what you had with Leonardo, which is not disappointing at all. I mean, it's a very good thing. Let me get some of this out of the way. I'm going to pop him out. Where you do see some of the like detailing come through in the sculpt is like, for example, on their turtle shells. They have a lot of detailing, little tiny details on their shells, and then also even just with the I'll try and give you a good look at it, but even like the belt. So yeah, there's Raffy boy, the angry boy. Sometimes in certain depictions of the turtles, he's kind of like rival-ish with Leonardo. They kind of vie for who's going to be the leader of the pack, so to speak. I like Raph. He's not my favorite. My favorite is Donatello. Always has been. But I like Raph quite a bit. It was when I was growing up, me and my two cousins that I saw most frequently and my sister, we kind of divvied the turtles up equally amongst us as far as whose was whose favorite. And yeah, Donatello was always my personal favorite. I don't know, something about the bow, the color purple. Donatello notably not yet available. You used to know these boys. Why would you ever stop having a relationship with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? They're evergreen, you know. I'm going to give us a couple nice close-ups so that we can see some of the nice details on Raphael here, starting with this lovely shell. So you can see there, lovely sculpting. They haven't released Donatello yet, that is to say. I do have Donatello on pre-order, but he's not out yet. But you can see here there's great sculpt detail with regards to the shell. You've got those kind of slashes that imply a little bit of battle damage. Raph is very much like the rough and tumble. Beer and toys can coincide. Let me be the one to tell you. Though I can tell you, both of those can theoretically be pretty expensive hobbies overall. You can see some great detailing here with regards to the leather goods, his belt, even just like minor detailing as far as like on the front. Yeah, it's true. It's tough. So this is the classic toy head. This one is sculpted to look more like that old, the original toy. I already showed you the more modern one. Like I said, I'm probably going to be displaying him with the modern head as opposed to the classic toy head. That's just out of a personal preference. But yeah, from like a articulation standpoint, again, he's pretty much identical to what you would see with Leonardo. Let me pop that old head off. Let me pop the new modern head on. But yeah, no. So in wave 3, which should be the next one to release, which may be releasing maybe sometime this month, possibly next month, you'll see Donatello in addition to a number of other individuals. I think that wave also includes Casey Jones and Metalhead. I don't know. I didn't have a hard time taking Leo's head off. There's something about this Raph that feels... Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. I knocked my little Donatello Lego here down in the background. Brutal dismemberment. Yes. I think they actually appeared in like a Mortal Kombat game a while back. Or like, I think they appeared in Mortal Kombat versus DC, which is weird. But, you know, that's a weird game series. Oh my God. Yeah, his head feels a little more finicky in comparison to Leo. As far as getting it on and off. I don't know if they have the same little neck joint or mechanism. It really feels like Leo's was a little bit different. I want to say he had kind of a larger, just a ball joint. This one has a thin stem and then a pretty small hole that you have to pop it in. But I mentioned last time when we were looking at the first wave of Super7, there we got him on, that these guys come with just an excellent variety of accessories. You can see he has his 2 size here. These are kind of a little bit softer plastic. A lot of the other accessories are actually like painted. So I think, you know, Ryan, I'm going to have to sick a mod on you soon. But yeah, so he comes with a lot of the same accessories as what we saw with Leo. We've got the turtle communicator. We have those weapons that were kind of universal between the turtles, like kukri. I don't know what these are called, but you know, those blades as well. These appear to be a little bit nicer size overall. I want to say again, I think these are painted, whereas these other ones aren't. So the same sculpt. So it really is just whether or not it's going to be painted or unfinished plastic. A Qatar. Sure. Yeah, sure. You weapons people. So yeah, you've got your unfinished Sai right here. This is just unfinished plastic with little black paint on the handle. And then this one has metallic paint. Again, the same item, but it's kind of interesting that they included that because they do still have, like I pointed out on the last one, they have these little throwbacks to the original toys, which is like your unpainted sprue weapons. So those are meant to just be kind of a throwback to the original toy, where the original toys kind of came with these things. So all of their accessories were just molded in the same color. So you have his 2 size there. But they included multiple size with Raph here. So he's got the unfinished ones and then he has the painted ones. So I guess because these were already tucked into his belt in the shipper, they probably didn't want to put the painted ones in there. So it's interesting. You get three sets of size theoretically. I like the look of the painted ones. And then again, the Leonardo that I have out right now is using that one. I'm guessing this is something that they've been doing with Raphs more recently, is that some of these hands probably allow for like the proper Sai holding technique. Size, generally speaking, will like typically kind of go between the fingers more so. Maybe. Kind of like that. That's like your proper quote unquote like sai holding position. So a lot of newer Raphael figures have the ability to hold the sais in that manner instead of the original way of just kind of holding it according to the handle. I'm not sure how I'll display it yet. I haven't quite made up my mind. Leo was pretty straightforward. Proper, yeah. If you want to lose a finger. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, I'm no like weapon expert or anything like that. I don't know. You tell me. How do you hold a sai? How does chat hold their sais at home? Everybody has sais, so we can all relate. I guess I'll put the painted guy back for now. Well, I say that, but probably not a good way to use it. I mean, it's true. I'll just kind of set these items to the side for the time being. I have several other toys to open. And this Raph is doing just fine on his own, sitting right here. A little size comparison for you. I can move Bebop here so that we can do a little side by side. Let me move them a little closer to the camera and then we'll get them into a nice focus. There you go. Yeah. So you can see Raph quite a bit shorter than Bebop. Bebop's pretty big dude, pretty big toy. Is that how the feet always look? They don't give you any spare feet. So yes, it does look, it's a little bit more pronounced in person, but you can tell that one of the toes is quite a bit larger than the other. I don't know if that's completely accurate to the original toys. I mean, it might be. I think some of them were kind of posed where there was kind of like a crook or a bend in the foot. So I can't really say definitively. But I don't know. It's fine. Until you pointed them out, I didn't even really notice it. Let's put Bebop back. Bebop can hang out with Billie Eilish again. Maybe I should zoom in just a little bit in general. Am I as zoomed in as I can get? Oh, I might be. Yeah, I think I may only be able... No, there we go. Yeah, we're going to pull in just a little bit and get back into a nice, sharp focus. Hello, fourth viewer. If you're somebody I don't know, I apologize in advance. But yeah, let's get to opening some other people. Let me get all this Raph stuff out of the way for right now. I'm almost 30 minutes in and I've only opened one toy and I have 4, so got to start hustling a little bit. For the next one, I kind of had an order in mind with regards to opening this particular wave. So for my next one, I'm going to be opening the Foot Soldier. I guess it's not as good for doing the opening. I'll just go back to being zoomed out a little more. Yep. Yeah, so I wanted to go in a certain order. I think I'm going to go Raph, Foot Soldier, Splinter, and Baxter. Baxter Stockman from this line was one of the first ones that I had really seen and that made me kind of take notice of this line because he's another one that, again, I think they really they live up to the concept. They kind of go beyond the original figure into, I think, capturing a little bit more of maybe the concept of what they were going for with that original design. Now that they don't really have the same limitations. I mean, obviously, like I mentioned, these are much more expensive figures. Not even taking into account how inexpensive those original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys must have been at original release. But even in a modern setting, these are slightly more expensive figures than what you would see, just on the shelf at your local Targets or Walmarts or Toys R Us. May it rest in peace in the United States. So these are normally about like $50 a pop, which puts them decidedly into that collector's category. And again, I think it just affords them a lot of leeway to just really kind of live up to the concepts of what these characters and sculpts were supposed to be. Foot Soldier's a little bit of a plain, I would say, design. Again, not having some of the distinctive, intense sculpt elements that you have out of other characters like Mutagen Man and Bebop. I don't know how much of that is like an intentional design choice within the line itself to kind of have characters that are, very detailed as far as sculpt, and then maybe have characters that are maybe a little bit less. I would say out of the most recently announced wave, that wave 5, all of them are pretty detailed. I would say maybe it's just a coincidence that some of these earlier release waves seem to have certain characters that are lower in detail, but yeah. I'm really looking forward to opening Baxter, though, because like I said, he was one of the early figures that I had seen that really made me interested in checking out this wave. I mean, I have to say, pretty much all of these are going to look a little bit better. Again, a lot of those original Playmates, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, while excellent and like very fun to play with, big part of my childhood. Some of them, like, they would be pre-posed and have somewhat like minimal 5-point articulation. So like you can turn the arms and legs up, you can turn the head, but they were pretty much kind of in sort of a default pose, sculpted that way. So I remember like Foot Soldiers, the original Foot Soldier toys were pretty pretty pre-posed overall. Like they were in kind of a steep hunch, very similar, I would say, to like that original Shredder toy as well. I would say this is a toy where, for the kind of collector aspect of it, they seem to be trying to give you your value with it by giving him a lot of accessories, pretty large accessories, large sculpted, fully painted accessories, and you've got a ton of hands as usual. So I think they're kind of offsetting the fact that maybe he's a little bit more of a plain design by really kind of trying to wow with some of those other elements that are included with the figure himself. But this guy, as opposed to the original Foot Soldier, not really pre-posed. You can see he's standing here in package in sort of a neutral pose. And then, of course, like with the rest of the line, he presumably is just going to have kind of your standard modern articulation that you would expect. Now with twice the junk. I mean, it's true. Who doesn't like more junk? He's kind of got like a softer, like more of a vinyl, rubbery plastic on some of those cloth elements. I guess that's to make sure that things like this little somewhat like skirt element and ruffles aren't going to do anything to impede his articulation. I love some good junk in the trunk myself. What can I say? I do want to do a special shout out to Ryan, who was a huge help in terms of me troubleshooting my new setup. He very graciously pointed out to me that I was losing 97% of my frames and broadcasting at like 1 frame per second before I made a lot of adjustments in OBS to not just be absolutely maxed out in every category. And now I think we're all the better for it. Mini frame, mini drop, so loss. But yes, so I would say like your original foot soldier, he was pretty much in kind of like a deep crouch. The proportions here mirror the original foot soldier. Did I say stormtrooper instead of foot soldier? Who knows? I don't think so. I just second guess myself sometimes. But yeah, they were pretty much like really deeply stooped, and they had like one arm extended in that way. And that was just kind of like the default way that they were set up. So again, you have a lot more options here as far as like overall pose. I've seen people do what's called army building with even this ridiculously expensive $50 a pop figure. Army building, as it would imply, means that you are usually buying at a bare minimum of around like 6 of this figure, so that you can create the impression of there's like an entire army of them. It makes sense because there's so many foot soldiers in like the cartoons and the video games and the comics. But I think when you're paying $50 a pop for like a collector item like this, to me, I could never imagine trying to do army building. I would also say like army building intrinsically doesn't necessarily appeal to me as much, because it takes up so much space for the same thing. I kind of look at toys as a combination of kind of, it's the pop culture thing. It's the associations with the characters, but it's also in its own way like a little unique art piece. And I think I'm usually not inclined to have more than one of the same art piece. Like I wouldn't have 3 of the same poster hanging up in my house. And so I kind of think of it from a similar perspective when you're talking about toys. So this guy, just like with the other Super 7s, plenty of detail in the sculpt. You can see even actually the little foot emblem on his head is raised. Plenty of detail in that facial sculpt. And then also you've got kind of a sense of a different material, just like with the Raphael shell. There's also the impression of some damage, like some battle damage scuffs that have been encountered with this guy. So again, even though he's a little bit more of a simple design, they're still, doing proper justice to the character himself and the design by just kind of lavishly pouring on the detail, the texturing, things that make even these kind of simpler designs at least, an upgrade, an improvement, something that's competitive with modern toys and modern collectors' toys. This is another one that's going to be a tough one for me to determine how exactly I may want to display the foot soldier. There's a lot of really great weapons that are included with this toy in particular. I do kind of like this little claw thingy. This is kind of neat. That would probably be fun to have displayed. Let me get a nice close up on that. Take a closer look at that snout. So yeah, this is again fully painted. I don't know. It's like one of those reacher grabbers that people get so that they don't have to bend over, except a violent one. So you got that. You got like a little Bowie knife. And then of course you got a couple of like firearms, a little laser rifle. And then there's a bigger laser rifle, and then you've got kind of like a, looks like some sort of like futuristic mace weapon. Again, all of these I'm sure are direct homages to the original toy and all of the accessories that were included with that original toy. And just like with the Turtles, you do have all of those accessories reproduced here, included on the mono-colored sprue. So unpainted, unfinished. I have seen other collectors of this line take those unfinished weapons off of the sprue so that they can display the more toy accurate accessories. Again, a million hands included as usual. Some of them are kind of cool. You got like kind of like if it was a squadron leader, he's indicating a certain direction. And then, yeah, you got like fists, other things that I'm sure probably make some of those weapons a little bit easier to hold than maybe the original Release foot soldier. I'll leave him chilling there next to Raph. You can see he's a little bit taller than Raph, which just stands to reason. I think the turtles are normally depicted as being fairly short dudes. Where's the... Oh, there it is. I'm going to be, I think, again, most excited about Baxter, because Baxter is going to be, to me, again, where the line really, really shines, which is in kind of covering those sort of more gross, disgusting sculpts, which the original Baxter, I think, would certainly qualify as. These both are very nice, don't get me wrong, but I'm just very excited to see what they do with that. Up next, we have, not Baxter, Master Splinter. And I think this will be one that will demonstrate just the matching the original toy aesthetic aspect of this pretty well. So when I originally started this stream, some of it was, the idea behind it was that I could get rid of some of this packaging, just free up space in my house. In addition to just kind of getting these things out of their packaging so that I can kind of appreciate them. Again, I kind of view them as their own little like art pieces, their sculptures, kind of in a way, you know. Okay. Well, sorry, foot soldier. Sorry, Raphael. Let me just have you sit down patiently as I deal with some of these other guys. But the tricky thing with this, yep, one hit, is that so much of this packaging I'm going to end up keeping because I need a good place to store some of those accessories. Some of the painted accessories, I don't really want them getting all jacked up necessarily. And then, you know, you've got like alternate hands and heads. So it's just like, it makes sense to hold on to the packaging. But again, that's running a little contrary to some of what the original modus operandi of this channel was. Pretty nice looking right off the bat. I don't know if the original Splinter actually came with all of these accessories. It seems like more, but I'm not an expert really with regards to what was and wasn't included. I don't have an encyclopedic knowledge, and I myself, a lot of those original toys that I did have, I either don't have them on hand, or some of them, yes, we did. I think I mentioned we sold a little bit of them. I think more of like the weird alternate versions of Turtles. Splinter, similar in some regards to the Shredder toy that I opened a few weeks back. You can see he's packaged here in a cloth, a fabric, little robe, but he also comes packaged with a plastic one. So you have the option of displaying him either in that fabric robe, or you can swap him out for the plastic. I might go with the plastic. I kind of think it looks a little bit nicer. I'll show you once I have everything out. But yeah, like a ton of accessories. I mean, you've got his walking stick, you've got a bow, several arrows that come along with it. You've got, I guess it's like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, probably tea. That has like sculpted smoke that's transparent. Yeah, it is pretty interesting because you definitely have toy collectors that may have a preference to one versus the other. There's this manufacturer I mentioned before called Mezco, and Mezco tends to do kind of like high-end nice sculpts of a lot of different things, but comic book characters, for example. And some people, even though they really like the sculpts and they like the articulation and this and that about it, they just don't like the fact that Mezco has the tendency of doing things as soft goods. So they like have little, some of the complaints is you call it like doll clothes that they have for their action figures. Interesting, but I don't know. But yeah, the other thing too is that like the difference with this plastic and the fabric, it also seems like there's a little bit of a difference in terms of the color. I would say that it is, in a certain extent, to cater to collectors. I think a lot of the things about modern collector toy design is they really want to just give you kind of 1,000,001 display options. I think that brings additional value and makes you more competitive in the market. Because I think it kind of sells the idea to collectors that even though 1,000,001 people may have this toy, yours can still be displayed in a way that kind of speaks to you and your personal aesthetics and just is unique for your own collection. So, again, if you are kind of one of those pretentious people like me who kind of thinks of this as sort of an art piece, it's kind of a way that you can very slightly customize this existing art piece to be, a reflection of your personal preferences with regards to things. Kind of unique to action figures in that way as well. I would say you can kind of do those kind of embellishments with, say, like Lego builds where you mostly follow the instructions, but maybe you add a couple things that are just like a personal flourish. But as far as like action figures, I mean, I would say that it is very much a thing that's unique to items that are marketed to adult collectors. And I would say that I would be inclined to say that Marvel Legends, the original Toy Biz releases, was probably where that kind of got at least the start. I think maybe Japanese figures were doing it before that. But as far as it becoming a big thing, especially in Western markets, I would say Marvel Legends probably explored that first. Interesting. Kind of a different build than I was expecting. Definitely in comparison to the Nika cartoon Splinter. So that one, he's kind of a lot more slight. This Splinter is a little bit like stockier, a little bit buffer. Like I said, I'm probably going to be displaying him in that plastic robe, I think. Well, I don't know. I displayed my shredder with the fabric, so maybe I'll leave him in the fabric. But again, he's a little swole. He's a little built. Yeah, he's definitely he's got pretty muscular, substantial arms for him. I would say, again, it's kind of day and night in comparison to that cartoon Splinter that we had opened a few weeks back. This guy definitely seems a lot more tough, like he could train a group of mutant turtles to be ninjas. Very interesting. I mean, again, this is, I think, simply just being accurate to that original toy more than anything else. So it's not like they're necessarily, the toy designers aren't making the choice to do that so much as just, again, being accurate or faithful to that original toy a little bit. But again, nice close up on his feet. What? Okay, I'll give you your foot service, you freak. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, again, a ton of detail. You got nice details there as far as the foot bindings. You've got sculpted fur across the entire figure. His feet are weird. Yeah, his feet are pretty weird. I think that was a similar observation with the Turtle Splinter as well. But again, I mean, a lot of things, like the sculpt was definitely maybe not quite as detailed on the original release. Obviously, the plain line. I'm sure some of that was down to the manufacturing process as well, since they were you know, they made like probably literally millions of those toys. So I think the mold just couldn't necessarily be as detailed as what you're getting with this. So this is that tea mug that I was talking about. Has kind of a cool, excuse me, translucent smoke effect. Looks nice. And then the walking stick. And there's also just like a plank of wood. But you've got a bow that has a little drawstring. Again, lots of sculpted detail on these weapons as well, and these are fully painted. So let me do that by the mic. How satisfying. I do remember the original Splinter coming with the bow, but I mean, this is, again, kind of taking that idea and really running with it and just kind of executing it in the best way that they possibly can. Really nice. Surprisingly nice, I would say. Again, I didn't necessarily expect too much. Interesting that there's no alternate head provided. Here's the plastic gi. Have I been out of focus? Am I still in close-up mode and I'm just not closing up? Here's that plastic gi that you can theoretically swap out for the fabric gi that he's wearing. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure he probably came with all of the accessories that are included on this little sprue. But again, it looks like they added a couple of additional embellishments as far as tossing in that that steaming mug, and then they also give you like a little baby turtle. They should obviously sell a little turtle 4-pack or 3-pack so that you can complete it. Yeah, I would say the fabric getting to breathe a little bit more and kind of spread out does look a little bit nicer than what it looked like initially. Look at this happy little guy. Which of our 4 brothers is this, do you figure? But yeah, so they added a little bit. They just executed the existing accessories very well. They give you a ton of display options. I mean, very nice. It's a good Splinter. I feel like want to display him with that that little mug. I love coffee, so I can pretend it's coffee. Though again, maybe it's like green tea, but I don't know. Who knows? He's also a New Yorker, so New Yorkers like coffee, don't they? Diner culture, whatnot. Which leads us again to the toy out of tonight that I was perhaps most excited to explore, and that is that's Baxter Stockman. I saw this guy in person, maybe about, I don't know. It's been a while. I saw him several months ago, maybe even a year ago, at one of our local malls. One of our local malls still has an FYE, or a for-your entertainment store in it. And they just happen to like oddly carry sometimes weird high-end collectibles. So I had seen Raphael on the shelf, and I had also seen this guy, Baxter Stockman, on the shelf. And when I saw Baxter, I, again, was pretty impressed. And it caused me to take a little bit more note of this toy line, where I didn't necessarily have a ton of plans to get into it before. I think at that point I probably already had a lot of the Nika cartoon turtles, and I just thought to myself, do I really need additional high-end Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And apparently the answer was, yes, I do need it. I need everything. If I just had infinite money, I think that would be a great boon to me so that I could then just proceed to buy every single thing in the entire world, including space, with which to enjoy all of the stuff that I've been acquiring. But again, this is a figure that I was very much looking forward to. And I'm going to get it open so that I can really start to appreciate it. This was the guy that kind of sold me on the line, so it's going to be nice to check him out. All right, let's open this guy up. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you can see he's another one of those big, larger figures. Oh, he comes with a mouser too? Wow, I didn't even realize that. Again, I would have to say that probably some of the simpler figures in this lineup, arguably the Foot Soldier and I would say Raphael as well, they're not as crazy as some of these other things that are, well, specifically Baxter here. I would say Baxter has to be kind of the value proposition from a manufacturing standpoint. I think that, yeah, let's get this guy open. Let's start looking at this. That's a very impressive little collection altogether. But he's another taller figure. I would say he looks to be kind of along the same size as Mutagen Man, which is to say I think both of them are technically a little bit shorter than Bebop. I think Bebop's going to end up being one of the tallest in the series overall, because apparently he was supposed to be. They are working on a Rocksteady, but Rocksteady is definitely already confirmed to be a little bit shorter than Bebop. But yeah, wow, this Baxter, this is wild. I definitely remember having this toy, the original Baxter Stockman. He was a little bit smaller. This is a nice reinterpretation of that character because, again, you're getting him kind of in a more hulking, monstrous size. He's kind of another one of those characters that just has like a ton of sculpted detail, which was present in the original, but they're really able to like do it proper justice because they can paint some of the sculpted detail areas, and then also the fact that he's a little bit of a larger scale just lets you really see some of those details a little bit more clearly. I think I mentioned when I opened the cartoon Baxter that he seemed to be a little bit of an obvious... you don't remember Baxter? Did you ever play Turtles in Time? He's like the first bad guy you fight. But he's just like a fly man. I mentioned when we opened the cartoon version that I think it's like a reference either to the original Fly movie or honestly the fact that he's a little bit grosser looking. It's probably like a Cronenberg Fly reference because that's pretty contemporaneous with the original release of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Goldblum. Brundlefly. Yes. But like I said, I was very excited to open this guy, and so far, he does not disappoint. We'll take a closer look at some of the details and things once I can get him fully free. He's pretty secured in there. As a bigger figure, I guess they wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to be bouncing around too much, so you got a total of 4 ties and then a little like plastic rubber bandy set around his legs. So he's really held in here securely. I love that they threw in the Mouser. I think the original Mouser toys were a separate release. I don't believe the original Baxter came with a Mouser. So probably just Super7 realizing that, well, they're probably not going to be doing a Mouser separate. They could, I'm sure if they were to sell like a multi-pack, like a 4-pack, they would make a lot of money from doing that. Collectors are crazy about certain things. Like I said, army builders. People love their army builders, certain types of people. You know, I talked about not being an army builder, and then I have purchased a lot of this little android guy. But I kind of feel like, you know, androids are mass produced. It makes sense. Damn it. I don't have to justify myself to you people. All right. Let's get Mr. Stockman out so that we can really start to appreciate the finer details of his freakish glory. There we go. So we have it, Baxter Stockman. He's got his freaky little fly arms. He's got his fly wings, his human arms, that beautiful mug, a face only a mother could love. And yeah, his gross malformed mutant legs. Really gross. I think I mentioned last time, I find flies very disgusting. Flies and cockroaches are like the two grossest things that I could possibly interact with. But let's look at some of these details, huh? Yep. What a looker, ladies and gentlemen. Lots of detail. Tons of detail. He's got his little bow tie, scientist coat, lab coat. He's got a sculpted watch on his wrist there. In addition to, apparently, Dr. Stockman is married. So I feel sorry for their partner. A ton of sculpted detail. I mean, this guy is gross, but very impressively gross. Those feet, I would say these are worse than the Splinter feet by a little bit. Pretty gross. But very impressive. Again, I guess once you hunch him over, he's certainly nowhere near as big as Bebop is. But I would say equally impressive. And also, again, a little bit of a larger figure. Definitely bigger than Raph. I think technically maybe the foot soldier stands up straight a little bit taller than him, but not as bulky. Foot soldier is a pretty slim character overall. Yeah, I mean, they're similar in height. I'll get Raph in on this group shot as well. But Baxter, yeah. Of course, I would say he comes with all of the standard accessories that the original release had come with. I want to make sure I'm in good focus here. And then I really appreciate them including this Mauser. This looks pretty accurate to the original Mauser toy release. Now, I want to say the original Playmates was actually maybe even a little bit larger because it was an individual release. There might have been two, and I think they potentially one or both of them may have been wind-up toys. I don't remember it with perfect clarity, but cute little guys. Love Mausers. And again, that one's pretty much like a pretty perfect recreation of that original Playmates one. It doesn't come quite with as many accessories, but I think that that's fairly justifiable and understandable considering, all of the plastic that would go into not only the bonus Mauser figure, but he does have multiple alternate hands. He has two weapons, this kind of like fly swatter, waffle iron looking thing, and then just a little bit more conventional little like laser blaster pistol. But when you think about the inclusion of the arms, the wings, and just being a bigger figure overall, I'm sure, again, from a production standpoint, he was probably the most expensive to produce. And again, I think very, very impressive as far as the overall appearance. Yeah. There was a reason that this particular figure was the one that kind of made me say, well, I guess I can collect that. I find this, again, I mean, I had this toy. When I think of Baxter Stockman, I tend to think of this particular appearance. That cartoon one isn't a version that I'm as familiar with. I would say it goes the toy and then Turtles in Time, and then I guess it would be the cartoon version third, probably. But overall, again, I mean, these are excellent figures. I want to say that most of the waves are available for you to get at just regular MSRP through kind of your typical online retailers. Super7 themselves have Wave 5 available, but I want to say Big Bad Toy Store has most of the other waves available still, or most of them. But again, I mean, I'm enjoying collecting this line. I'll be very happy when I have all 4 of the main turtles. Yeah, I don't know. That's about all I have to say about all that. Very nice. I'm going to continue. Actually, I might more or less be done with most of my turtles. There's some stuff that I could open. Like I mentioned, I actually have some of the Nika movie turtles that I could look into opening soon. I am interested in getting them out, but the issue I'm running into right now is that I don't have a good home for these in particular right now. Like, I have my cartoon turtles set up very nicely in a shelf, but this other stuff, I don't know. I put some of them up in the corner here on some shelves that I had put up. And then Bebop was a little bit bigger, and I just enjoyed having him a little bit closer by, so I had kept him around. But these guys, I'm not too sure where I'm going to put them right now. And then if I open the movie turtles on top of that, I really won't know where to put those, what to do with them. These guys I could probably flex into some of my other displays, I think. Easy enough. But yeah, I don't know. We might be done with Turtlefest because I don't see myself being able to open some of those other ones. But don't you fear, viewers. I still have a lot of crap that I can open. Again, way too much overall. I had my Lego Lola Bunny join our desk friends. That's from my first very ill-fated test stream. Yeah, buy turtles for now. When I have more space, I might bring Turtlefest out of retirement so that I can open those movie turtles. I really need to know where I'm going to put them. And even right now, these guys are going to be a bit of a head scratcher for me. I'll be able to find a place for them, but I don't know. Like, it's going to take me probably a good half hour or more to get these guys somewhere that I'm pleased with them being there. Let's get these guys a little bit closer, give them a little bit of a glamour shot. Again, I like them all. I do feel that Baxter was the standout out of these 4, understandably so. I would say, again, I didn't get a chance to really share my thoughts on Mutagen Man when I was opening that wave, simply because the power cut out in the middle of that stream. But I feel like Baxter here and Mutagen Man, if you're just like somebody that likes gnarly looking or gross looking monster kind of toys, then you may enjoy them simply from that aspect. I can let me pull down my Mutagen Man real quick, just to give you a little bit of a look at him, since we got kind of disconnected very quickly after I opened it last time. Be right back. And there you have it. So this is the Mutagen Man toy that I didn't really get to spend altogether too much time talking about when I had first opened him up. But again, this is, to me, more where this line shines, which is to say, in recreating a lot of these really gross, disgusting looking monstrous sculpts from the original toy line. Look at that. Just disgusting. Sticking his little tongue out at you. I guess he's sticking everything out at you, right? They're making a glow-in-the-dark version of this guy. And I'm a little tempted to get it because Liz loves glow-in-the-dark toys, and I just think, again, he looks pretty cool and rad as far as a toy were to go. But yeah, so that's everything that I had been planning on opening this week. Should I open these? Should I put gloves on first and then open these? I don't know what a regular one feels like. I hear that the ones with the fancy cards in them are a little bit heavier. Maybe I'll ridiculously put some gloves on and move these turtles out of the way and open that up. Now that everybody loves watching Pokemon cards get open, right? It's like one of America's favorite pastimes. So I'm going to go and grab some gloves. I think I might only have clear gloves. I don't know. I'm going to get some gloves so that I don't damage this with my gross finger oils. And we'll pull like a $500,000 card out of this. And then I'll be able to retire and just stream full time. But once more, I will be right back. And I don't have any like interesting be right back graphics or music or anything like that. So, just maybe think of a good topic of discussion. Discuss amongst yourselves. Okay. I don't have gloves. I don't know. I know we had gloves because, pandemic and whatnot, and we were very cautious about that while we were like shopping and whatever. Especially when the pandemic had first kind of gotten rolling. But I'll just be careful and I'll just touch the sides, right? I just won't stick my greasy little fingers on the card face themselves. There it is. Vivid Voltage. I don't play Pokemon, by the way. So I don't know anything about what these are. Let me adjust the camera a little bit so we're getting like a good card view. Kind of reveals my desktop looking a little dusty. Okay, well, something to keep in mind. Let's open this booster and pull a rare card. You have a Charizard? Like a shiny first edition Charizard or whatever? You probably should. Yes, I agree. You should definitely do that. All right. If I could find mine, I think I have one. But where is it? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know if there's any like dead giveaways as far as me pulling a beautiful, perfect, whatever. Let's get these. Oh my God. Well, I already am touching them in ways that I said I wouldn't. Let's make sure that's nice and zoom in. Yeah, baby. Okay. Just use your... I hope you're yelling that at every streamer that does this crap. Cottony. Wow. Oops. There it is. Cottony. Cool. Great. Mudbray. He's just having a great time, this guy. Just rolling around in the dirt. Reminds me of my cat, except less stupid. Oh my gosh. I don't know how to make this more or less in focus. There it is. All right. Slugma. Great. Yawn and Flare. I mean, these are like the first half of it is going to be like just regular stuff, right? Like if there was anything good, it'd be at the back of the pack, more or less. I don't know. Maybe these are good. Maybe they're competitive at least. Execute. It's nice art. I have. Oh, this guy's shiny. He's like a little foil Galvantula. I like Galvantula, but he has like a little shiny foil print on it. Seems nice. I don't know if that's worth anything. I don't know if any of these are worth anything. There you go. We got and Mudsdale. That looks to be probably about all of the Pokemon. The rest appear to be like, energy cards or whatnot. Just get that out of the way. Yep, little electricity for you. Oh, do they give you they give you two of the same so that if you have a shiny one, you can choose to be real anal retentive about it, I guess? Or is this just luck that I get two Galvantulas? I don't know. Go-Goat. And Winden Stadium. Oh, don't steal this. Don't steal my code. Use this code to unlock your online booster pack. Visit Pokemon.com/redeem with my parents' permission. Mom, can I redeem this? Can I redeem this code? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that Galvantula is worth $200,000. Probably not. I don't have my mother's permission. Well, I can't use that code. It's very sad. Very sad. But yeah, so I opened some Pokemon cards. I don't know if these are any good. I have actually a ton of those cereal Pokemon cards that I can open. So I'll just, maybe I'll throw a bonus Pokemon pack in every stream. But yeah, so that was Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Wave 2 and one pack of Sword and Shield Vivid Voltage Pokemon trading card game, which is apparently contraband and no longer allowed to be sold in a lot of Targets across the country. Wild. Telling you, strange times we're living in. Strange and good times. Good times, strange times. But thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody coming out to check out the stream. I opened some toys. So as usual, I have fulfilled my end of the social contract. And now it's up to you. But I'm done. Thanks so much. I still need to build Winnie the Pooh sometime. And I can do that with my nice new streaming setup, with my nice improved video quality and my nice improved audio quality. And again, video on demand is available on YouTube. So check it out there. Yeah, just look for Matt Opens Toys. But thanks for tuning in, spending some time with me, listening to me talk about nothing for an hour and 20 minutes. Appreciate y'all. Love y'all. And I'm done. Thank you. Good night. Goodbye.